There are three main topics that we're going to be really focused as a caucus on this session. Number one is economic opportunity for all. We'll have a couple of members speaking on that. Commitment to quality education. Obviously, we've got to have an educated workforce where people can compete and win in the 21st century, and also investment in infrastructure. There's a lot of discussion going on right now, and I'll follow up at the end to talk a little bit more specifically. Obviously, we're not going to talk very specific about what legislation is going to move forward, but we're talking really about the ideas and the concepts that we want to dominate the discussion of this session.
All Oklahomans want to live in a strong state, a state with economic opportunities, and a state where leaders work together to solve our most difficult challenges. The state pension system is one of our greatest financial challenges. Under the leadership of Speaker Shannon, the House plans to work with the Senate and the governor to find solutions that really make a difference.
Over the last several years, we've passed several important compensation reforms, but what we're looking at are possible ways to improve on those changes and continue the path to push for Oklahoma to be the best place to live and to do business. We want to keep the jobs we have, create an environment where our existing businesses are able to grow and increase jobs, but also look at drawing businesses and jobs from states that are overregulated and overtaxed. Right now, we are currently the 6th highest in rates in the nation in workers' compensation. So we'll be looking at all sides of the issue and options that would protect the injured worker first and foremost, but lower rates for our businesses.
At our caucus meeting and our caucus retreat last fall, we talked about how important it's going to be to restore local controlled education, and we need to fight the one-size-fits-all federal mandates that are coming down. And only 8% of our federal funding reaches the state, and so we're providing the other 92% of funding for education. So we want to make sure that we instill local control in our school districts and make sure that what we want to happen in our school districts, which is a quality education for all our kids, is what's happening.
As we prepare and plan for the budget, there's things outside of our control that we're going to take note of and be aware of, and that's certainly what's happening up in Washington, D.C. The discussions or the action or inaction that they've taken could impact us, and we're going to be aware of that as we craft a budget. Unlike our friends up in the capital city, though, we will pass a balanced budget on time, one that takes into consideration a lot of variables, and one that we know that we can be proud of. We can't do this, though, with just the House. We know that we're going to have to work with our friends in the Senate and also the governor's office, and we look forward to that.
Last on our agenda is infrastructure. As you know, in 2004, when this party became the majority party, we made public roads funding a priority for the state of Oklahoma. For 20 years, we neglected our state infrastructure system, and it was the House Republicans who led the effort on saying that roads and bridges are not only a pathway to economic development, but it's a matter of public safety, and we made it a priority. And with the funding that was provided by this caucus, ODOT was able to create an 8-year plan that has completely revolutionized our roads and bridge system, and we are committed as a caucus to continuing that funding and making sure that the 8-year plan continues. And also what we've done, we've looked at a opportunity, or going to be looking at a long-term infrastructure plan that is a pay-as-you-go plan. Obviously, we have neglected our state roads and bridges. We've done a lot of work on asset liquidation, but we're proposing, or going to be proposing, legislation that will look at a pay-as-you-go plan that makes infrastructure needs a priority, not just on roads and bridges, but all state assets, and coming up with the plan, much like the 8-year plan for roads and bridges, on how we're going to address the state's long-term infrastructure needs.